Please, may I have your attention? Please take your seats. We will start the talk session in a short while. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are back to proceed our second session of today. So before we begin our session for today, I would like to invite our guest panels to come out to the stage and join Puan Haslinda Hashim.
Sila.
Before we begin, I would like to express our gratitude to our judges, Mr. Tan Eng Hu, Dr. Muhammad Roshidi Hassan, Dr. Zulhasni Abdul Rahim, Captain Imanuddin Abidin, Dr. Anita Rani, Dr. Jamal Rizal Razali, Dr. Rohana, Dr. Fatmawati Latada, Dr. Wan Suraya Wanik, Puan Haslinda Hashim, and Cik Jamila Bebe Muhammad. Before I pass the floor to our moderator, I will briefly introduce our speakers. Dr. Muhammad Roshdi Hassan is a senior lecturer attached to the Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering of University Putra Malaysia. He was the founding member of Aerospace Malaysia Innovation Center, AMIC, a collaboration between UPM and Airbus Group, Rolls-Royce, CTRM, and MITE. Dr. Roshdi is also a member for Malaysian TRIZ Association and European TRIZ Association, ITRIA. He is also a certified instructor for MyTRIZ and Level 3 TRIZ professional certified by the International TRIZ Association. Next, let us move on to our second speaker. Mr. Tan Eng Hu is one of leading consultants and project facilitators in systematic innovation methodology. He has conducted many courses on TRIZ. He has been instrumental in proliferating TRIZ to more than 10,000 practitioners in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. Over 100 local and international organizations from various industries are practicing TRIZ today and achieving interesting results. Mr. Tan Eng Hu was the founder and vice president of the Malaysia TRIZ Innovation Association, known as MyTRIZ. He was instrumental in the formalization of Indonesia TRIZ, Philippines TRIZ Association, and several emerging practitioner nations. Mr. Tan Eng Hu also had served Intel Corporation for about 20 years and has a broad scope of responsibilities from supply chain management to business management and marketing to product research and development. He has a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from University Science Malaysia and originated from Penang. Moving on for our third panel of the day is Dr. Zulhasni Abdurrahim. Dr. Zulhasni is a National Innovation Specialist in Systematic Innovation. He has successfully leveraged and applied his TRIZ expertise and tools to achieve more than 10 breakthroughs in the area of improving product value and cost reduction for various organizations fueled by the industrial successes. Dr. Zulhasni also reached out and continued to provide his expertise and support for local organizations via his innovation services for government, industries, GLC, SMEs, schools, institutions, universities, and more than 100 institutions here in Malaysia and overseas. He is passionate to change how Malaysians develop innovation in accelerated and sustainable process. At present, he serves as a senior lecturer at Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology, University Technology Malaysia, UTM, Kuala Lumpur. A small reminder to all students, you are supposed to listen to the forum because at the end, there will be a reflection to write. On the paper, please do not forget to write your name, section, metric number, lecturer's name, day, date for today. Please answer and submit at the paper at the back of this hall and place the answer script according to your section and lecturer's name. For diploma, the paper will be in pink, and for degree, the paper will be yellow. So you can submit the reflection paper after finish the program. So now, let us begin our forum, and I will turn the floor of our industrial forum to Puan Haslinda. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to our honorable speakers for today's forum. Yeah, I would like to welcome all three speakers here today, and also our beloved students of UMP who are taking UHS 2021 Soft Skill 2, and I believe almost 95 groups have struggled to present this morning. Congratulations to everybody. Well done, a good job. You've tried your best. Whatever remarks you get from the judges, believe me, this is only the start of a true life. Yeah? Later on when you work, definitely you'll be receiving comments and criticisms on how you work, on how you deal with the normal daily life. But as for today, we are going to focus on TRIZ and what is TRIZ all about actually. We have three experts today. Okay, let me remind you there are 4 questions that I will ask the speakers. The number one, how do we apply TRIZ in our normal daily life in the world today? How do we apply TRIZ in the world today? Yes, right, please now. You'll be listening to their answers, to their response, to their comments, to their feedback. So you can jot down, but I'm giving you the questions now. So try not to get lost during the forum, okay? All right, question number 1. How do we apply TRIZ in the world today? As you can see just now, you already applied a small part of TRIZ in your invention. It's the process that we really appreciate. Yeah? We can see some students try their best. You tried your best in order to understand and deliver. All right. Number 2, they are going to share with you their own experience in TRIZ. For example, Dr. Zulhasni is an expert of automobile industry. Dr. Roshdi is an expert of aviation industry. UMP, we don't have any aviation faculty. So this is the right time for you to listen to an experience from a Malaysian who is an expert in aviation. Kalau siapa yang tak faham aviation ni, kapal terbang Kita bukan cakap kapal terbang kecil-kecil ni ya. We're talking about the real big thing, aviation. And then, of course, Mr. Eng Ho is a consultant for TRIZ projects. Yeah? And then I believe this TRIZ has been introduced to schools, in fact. Yeah? Critical thinking and problem solving. So you should be grateful that they are going to share their experience with you. That will be number 2. Number 3, let's see how they can relate TRIZ and IR 4.0. You know it's important for you to understand the challenges of the world today, for us to be in the industry. So how do we connect TRIZ and IR 4.0? And finally, they're going to talk about the potential and opportunities TRIZ in the working area. Why do you learn? Why are you learning TRIZ? And why do they believe that TRIZ will help you to become a better engineer later on? Some of you are graduating, in fact, next year, the 3rd year and final year students. Yeah, you should be grateful. Yeah, you're learning this. You're going to apply in your final year project, in your PSM. Let's see what they have to tell us about the opportunities where you can apply this in your workplace later on. Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Zulhasni to talk about the application of TRIZ in the world today.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me and our members to share a bit regarding how TRIZ been applied. Not just in your university, but also the situation that happening outside. Okay, so first of all, I think you have learned what TRIZ is all about. Okay, so TRIZ is helping you to find innovation that is what you call that have higher value. That what you call have the potential for you to improve whatever happening today. Okay, so for today we have seen that most of the students applied TRIZ in certain level. Okay, for example, like we have seen like how to improve, how to solve problem. Okay, so for TRIZ, the innovation comes from problem solving. So the higher what you call the more complex or the higher value of a problem that we need to solve, the greater outcome it will given. Okay, so the application of TRIZ in problem solving have a lot of potential. Okay, we need to focus on solving high value problem, because high value problem normally is complex, difficult to solve, have contradiction. So this kind of problem people don't like to solve it. Susah, difficult. Okay, kita in most Malaysian culture we are normally resolve problem like through what we call tolak ansur. Okay, so somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. So TRIZ have the element which focusing on win-win situation. And this win-win situation is not coming from ourselves, but from the methodology called TRIZ. This methodology have steps that which we learn from our lecturer and we try to practice, where this type of methodology open up your thinking. Okay, because through our kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, and even in university, we are not taught how to think creatively, critically, and innovation. Okay, then suddenly when you enter UMP and you taking this course, suddenly you need to think like innovation and systematic innovation. Okay, so of course it is critical, but for you who have high interest in learning this TRIZ, in the outside world, there's so much innovation coming out from TRIZ methodology. Okay, for example, in Malaysia we are starting. For example, maybe I will share soon about how TRIZ been applied in Proton. Okay, and then in outside Malaysia, we have, I think most of us use Samsung telephone. We have like Kia, Hyundai car, and a lot of electronics, which the innovation is coming from the usage or the application of TRIZ. So by using TRIZ to help industry, it makes Korean company like Kia, Hyundai, and Samsung become the biggest industry player in the world. Okay, and currently, I think the what you call the main client for TRIZ in the world is China. Okay, so China are very aggressive in using TRIZ to shift their industry from made in China to made by China. Okay, meaning that product that they made which is owned by other people, right now they want to change it. They want to create a product that comes from their creativity and innovation. Okay, so this thing is not easy. You can have a lot of tools, you can learn brainstorming, you can learn a lot of things to improve your creativity and innovation, but TRIZ methodology become the most popular tools that help industry to perform in their organization performance. Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for inviting me to UMP today. Actually, my first time I'm here, the word TRIZ, it was in 2006 when I worked with Rolls-Royce Center in UK. So my office mate is a Russian at that time. So he asked me, Rushdie, do you know why we are better than the West? Because in aviation industry, Russian is better than America, Europe, and most of the technology they are pioneer, and America and Europe they follower. So I answer, I don't know, and then he told me because we have TRIZ. It was in 2006, and I found TRIZ in Malaysia in 2011. I think my TRIZ was established in 2010. But at the beginning, when I come back in 2008, I tried to find TRIZ training, but at that time, it's very expensive because we have a few consultants from Europe come to Malaysia and they conduct the training, maybe cost 2,500, 3,000, so I can afford at that time. But when we have a Malaysian TRIZ Association, so I joined them, and until now, so we are all at TRIZ Level 3 International. So when I learned TRIZ, I realized that it's very powerful tools because we have to learn a lot of tools. The one that you learn in UMP, I think is about maybe 5 tools. So you still have long way to go to learn. So for us, we learn more than 30 tools, maybe 20 or 30 tools. And even every year when we conduct a training, when we conduct a conference, so we invite TRIZ master from Russia, from US to come over here and teach us more new tools and so on. And by learning this, so you feel that you can solve the problem very easy. And for me, my interest at this moment, because recently we have general election, even this morning we discussed about how we use TRIZ in general election. So I try to use a few tools in TRIZ so we can predict who will lost the deposit, so what will happen next. And now people talking about 1.0, 2.0, so we can predict. So for us, it's very powerful. So we just do experiment and it's really happened. So I'm quite surprised because TRIZ, as you know, is something they try to mention what has been happened in the past. So the God has what we call it, has planned that way, and it's always repeated until now. So that's why when I learned TRIZ, I realized then whatever knowledge has been mentioned in the Quran is going to repeat again. So that's why we can predict what's next. Even for your life also, you can predict where you want to be, how you decide on your life, and so on. That one is based on our daily life. But if we are talking about technology, so when we learn TRIZ, it's easier for us to solve the problem. For example, when we come across any complex problem, so for some people, they think, oh, it's no way to solve the problem. But for us who learn TRIZ, oh, we have another option, we have this option. For example, I give you one example. For most of you, when we discuss about airport, so normally airport, they have terminal and they have runway. For most of Malaysian, so when we discuss about airport, normally we think about people, transport people. But for TRIZ, we've been teach, you have to appreciate the resource. You have to think about the resource. So what is the resource for the airport? So we have terminal, we have runway, we have the empty space. So we have to utilize on how to improve the area or how to innovate so that people can generate more income and so on. And recently, for example, in Terengganu, we have a very big runway which is not being utilized. And before this, we discussed about why the government built that runway, because every year, Terengganu, they have the horse riding competition. And normally, they transport the horse using the cargo aircraft. So that's why, rather than we just think this landing gear or this airport being used to transport animal, so we have to think how to use this airport to transport goods. Especially durian, for example, we can export straight to China. So this is all, for TRIZ people, they have a way on how to solve the problem, how to improve the quality of life of the people around that area by thinking about the resource. Because TRIZ always, if you go for TRIZ level 1, if you remember, one of the TRIZ concept is we utilize the resource. So resource is very important, which is for some people, they not really care about resource. But for TRIZ, who are practice TRIZ, who learn TRIZ, you have to think about the resource. Because resource is something that people not really care, but it is very important. And we can solve a lot of problems by using the resource. So that's why when you learn TRIZ in UMP, don't just think about the technical problem. So you have to think about your daily life. For example, what Dr. Zul mentioned just now, for TRIZ, we always think about win-win situation. Because we always been taught you have to optimize. You have to optimize. Optimize means somebody need to sacrifice. But for TRIZ, there's no optimization. So everybody must win. So that's why we have win-win situation. When we try to solve the problem, you have to have the solution which is both party happy, both part we do not sacrifice, and so on. So for me, even though I use TRIZ for technical, for example, my PhD student using TRIZ, or my master student using TRIZ, even I got fund from the government to build the new landing gear aircraft using TRIZ. So I collaborate with Boeing Center in UK. But I still use TRIZ for my daily life to decide of everything. Then when you learn TRIZ more advanced later on, maybe when you learn S-curve, then you feel very interesting to understand more what's really happened in the future. So even now, one of my, in Malaysia now we are talking about Industry 4.0. Dr. Zul, one of the experts for Industry 4.0. But a lot of people, even in UPM, for example, last year, librarian asked me to tell them what will be the next library. So we discussed about the future, TM50. So what will happen in the future, how the library looks like. Because the librarian come to me, Rushdie, I don't know what to do with our library now. The student don't want to join or don't want to enter library. because the library is just a collection of books. So you need to innovate, but they do not know how to innovate. So that's why we have TRIZ. When we have TRIZ, we know what is the future direction, because TRIZ define function, not define product. Remember that. Because people buy function. We always think that people buy function, not product. Books is a product. The most important is the knowledge inside the book. As long as you can deliver the knowledge to the people, that means you successful deliver as a library. You don't expect people to come to the library, but as long as they can log into the library, then it's okay. So this is the future, and the future, it will be a very complex. And if you have zero knowledge on the TRIZ, maybe you think very complex and so on. But for TRIZ people, it's nothing new, because we just think about the same function, we repeat again and again, but with different method or with different product. Okay, that's all from me first round.
Good afternoon, and first of all, I'd really like to thank the university for inviting all of us, not just myself and my colleague here, to be in UMP. Having a spouse, which is my wife in front here, she's from Kuantan. She will never miss the opportunity to always come back to this nice campus. And every opportunity that she has, she insists that I must come and support this university. It's not just she from Kuantan or Pekan that make us come back here. I like to share with you why we are motivated to come and support you. I think this university has a lot of great leaders in your lecturers. After about 8 years of starting TRIZ with my colleague here, TRIZ has been shared with 100 universities in Malaysia, universities and colleges. So there are several hotspots, what we say, leading location of TRIZ in Malaysia. And those locations were like UTM, UPM, TAR-UC, Monash, KDU, Utah, and several others. But in my last 9 months, I see one university called UMP, who have come up tremendously and able to successfully proliferate the systems of teaching innovation and problem solving to huge number of people. And I really applaud these universities and you students for this wonderful achievement. Let me give you a comparison, and everything that we say must always be backed out with data because TRIZ guys love algorithm and they also like data. If we go to Monash, maybe they have about half the people here, maybe 500 students. But your one semester is already at about 1,200 students. You are 2 times bigger than Monash. UniKL trains about maybe 200 to 300 students a year, and they get their certification, tapi they don't have a chance to practice and make prototype like all of you. And you really must thank your lecturers and the system here for enabling you that. All right, so having said that, I think you have good opportunity to practice. I like to take you back maybe 8 years ago, around 2010 and 2011. I had the opportunity after my assignment with Intel to work with a government-linked corporation called MDEC. In that wonderful organization, I had the opportunity to be assigned to look at what is lacking in our graduates. There were several things that were lacking at that time. That was 8 years ago. One that was glaring was our ability to speak English. And today, I don't see that as a problem here anymore. And after 8 years, we are improving, which is very good. Another area that were of concern to the country at that time was problem solving. And coming from an industry, we knew this interesting tool called TRIZ that we say can kill two birds with one stone. One is problem solving, and at the same time allow you to innovate. So hence the effort of talking to my friends from UTM, UPM and all that to share this knowledge, and eventually here in UMP. And the third gap that we've learned 8-9 years ago was technical domain expertise. That was something that we were of concern. And among the three, when we ranked it, it looks like domain expertise is the easiest to learn. Whereas there were two that was of concern to the leaders of our country. One is problem solving, and second was communication skills. And today we are very proud to see all of you able to learn some parts of TRIZ. And I hope that's the beginning of your journey. And the question is, where does it go on the day-to-day basis, at the same time, global perspective? Take this down. The direction of where TRIZ is going is one, crossing domain. It started with work from a mechanical engineers. If you looked at the work of the discovery person, Genrich Alschuler, it started more of a mechanical area. And over time, today it has spanned across not just mechanical, you've gone through to computer science, to architect, to even accounting, and many, many domains. That is one direction it is going. Another direction it is going is that this tool used to be learned only by industry people when they are aged maybe 25 and above. But today we're seeing that people are learning TRIZ at a younger and younger age. So what is happening now is we're starting to see very young age of people starting to learn how to solve problem and invent. And lastly, it is crossing geography. Something that have started in Russia, have traveled to the America, and eventually passed on to several European countries, and has arrived in, as what Dr. Zol said and what Dr. Roshdi said, China, now Southeast Asia, and many areas. This team of people have been instrumental in pushing TRIZ or selling TRIZ in Malaysia. Today we have about 10,000 plus people in the community. And through their work, we have reached out to Indonesia, Philippines, Pakistan, and end of this month, interestingly, Australia. So something that we have never dreamed of that it will happen, but for a Malaysian to reach out to the world, we hope in the future you could do much more than all of us. And the question that was addressed was, how would TRIZ be used in our daily life? Follow on to what Dr. Zol says, one very interesting innovation that came from China recently had been improving the use of this toothpaste. When you go to a hotel, you normally get this small toothpaste. And this toothpaste has a cap. At the end of the cap, there is like a needle where you push into the toothpaste and break the cover so that you can dispense the paste. They felt that that cap can further be improved because it actually not much of a use. In that toothpaste dispensing, there is already a layer of aluminum foil covering that toothpaste. What they did is they transferred the pin from the cap to the toothbrush. And in all toothbrush in hotel in China, there is a little pin that is put inside part of the handle of the toothbrush, and then you just use that to push and open up the toothpaste. While that saving could be a few cents But when you have millions or billions of this 1 cent, it actually net out to a lot. And fairly recently, about maybe last week, I was in Indonesia. And in Indonesia, they are looking at teaching TRIZ in architectural faculty. That has been something that we have not thought of. But to them, they said, in architect, they actually struggle with a whole lot more contradiction than you and I are aware of. And personally for me, catching up to the mood of the recent election, I undoubtedly have been using TRIZ and discussed this with my colleague here. And there is one tool that we use favorably, which I know you have not learned yet, is called the S-curve. And this S-curve predicts what stage of a life cycle you are at, and eventually looked at how you would evolve. Interestingly, you can start having discussion if you are the existing government, what would you do? And if you are losing a lot, what would you do as your next curve? It's not about just taking sides, but I like to challenge you, if you are the leader of either side, what would you do? All right, so that become part of our day-to-day discussion, that we continue to seek for answers, and over time, we will predict whether it will come true. With that, I'll pass this microphone back to the the facilitator, and hopefully will run us back to the next question that she had prepared. Thank you.
Bagi yang kurang jelas, tadi Mr. Tan ada cakap macam mana TRIZ ni apply dalam general election. Wow, 5 years from now, kita tak tahu what will happen to Malaysia. You will be voting 5 years from now. Dan saya nampak ramai jari hitam tadi. Wow, welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. Pilihan kerajaan sekarang adalah pilihan anda. Jangan tidur. This is becoming more interesting. You see TRIZ as helping you in the kitchen, as helping you back at KK. Sekali tahu ada invention tadi kan? Some of you decide macam mana tangga untuk tolong naik katil di asrama, bantu motor. Tapi bayangkan expert kita bercakap tentang TRIZ dalam general election. Kemudian latest dalam architecture. Sedangkan when we started teaching you TRIZ, we thought, kami bagi tahu it's all about mechanical, it's all about technical. Macam mana TRIZ ni boleh apply dalam kehidupan kita. Alright, now we listen to their experience because they've been with TRIZ for the past 8 years. Banyak, kami ni baru lagi belajar ya. So excuse our small knowledge as your lecturer. Tapi I think personally, from a human science person, I feel very energetic to learn more about TRIZ, to understand more about your life as a technical person. Alright, so kita dengar pengalaman daripada Dr. Zul dalam bidang dia, kemudian kita dengar Dr. Roshdi, kemudian kita dengar Mr. Tan. Bidang mereka, bidang yang lain, tetapi mereka dipertemukan dalam TRIZ. Alright?
Okay, terima kasih, moderator. So, so the second question is how TRIZ been applied in my line of work. Okay, so currently I'm working with UTM, just 8 months. Okay, but in industry, I think it's about 15 years, 16 years. Okay, I'm working with industry. So I think my last company is Proton Holding. Okay. Proton Holding, as you know, is the manufacturer of Proton cars, okay, national car company, which currently have been given some portion of share to Geely, okay, Geely, the China automotive company. So before Geely take over, okay, I've worked there about almost 11 years, and my last phase of working there, I become engineer, okay? And then I've been given tasks to solve a problem, engineering problem. The assignment is I need to reduce costs. Okay, I need to reduce costs. So if you see like whatever engineering system like this table, chair, and what's not, if we want to reduce costs, like I think one of two groups I have mentioned, I asked the similar question, and the similar answer is to change material. Okay, so in engineering, if you change material that have a lower grade, your performance of a system will reduce. And eventually, if the system have been pushed up to the limit, it will fail and broke. Okay? So, my option in reducing cost is not downgraded material. Okay? I don't have that kind of option. If I reduce the cost by changing the material that have lower grade, the car will eventually fail and somebody die. Okay? So this is super critical. Of course, in engineering kind of field, I need to have a very what you call strong validation of experimental result, testing, engineering calculation and analysis that can back up my performance of a system. It's not easy for you to reduce costs on this, not just engineering system, but a complex engineering system as car. Okay, because I think other type of cars, different brand, I think Honda regarding with Takata airbags, they kill a lot of people than saving people in US. Okay, so it is not a compromise. This kind of problem may reduce loss of life, not just reducing costs. For you engineers, you are struggling, crack your head and maybe give up. How to solve this kind of problem? You need to produce solution that reduce costs, save people life. This big contradiction, from my experience, cannot be solved using Kaizen, ICC, Lean, Six Sigma, or whatever. Okay, I've tried that. Design thinking, you mentioned 6 thinking hat, I've learned everything. Okay, luckily, I'm doing my PhD industry. And my PhD proposal have been rejected twice. The panel mentioned to me, your PhD need to use TRIZ. From there, I learned TRIZ. And I start to build up some case study. When I try to bring in TRIZ into Proton, I'm skeptical. What is TRIZ? What is this animal, binatang? This, what is this new thing, TRIZ? And then it's coming from Russia. I've learned Kaizen, I've learned Six Sigma, it's coming from US, it's coming from Japan, which I familiarize. Then suddenly the word TRIZ that I need to learn. After I learn 1 or 2 case study, I start to convince myself because the result is amazing. I can solve the contradiction that I mentioned before without any trade-off, without any issue and so on. And then after I complete my PhD, I've ended up doing, I think, more than 10 high-impact projects, and I think more than that. And we managed to save costs about 13 million per year. Okay, we have this kind of analysis. Okay, we have projects. Okay, we show that this is the project, we don't have TRIZ, and after a few months we use TRIZ. And from that kind of case study, we save millions. Okay, this is not this is real story. And from there I create a lot of confidence in TRIZ, which TRIZ save millions of ringgit in automotive industry. Okay, one of the case study is not optimizing like Dr. Rushdie mentioned. we are go beyond what engineering can do. Engineering can able to improve something with optimization. That's the maximum thing you can do. But TRIZ, you can go beyond that. And then we take like a pattern from Volkswagen. And then we try to change it and we create a new things. Okay? This is something that you cannot done with other tools. So hopefully, okay, this is your first step, like what Eng Ho mentioned. This is your first step, your first journey in TRIZ, and hopefully, when you enter like this industry world, you will more appreciate in what you have learned in University Malaysia Pahang. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, we wait until all our friends come into the hall. So we still have space at the front here.
All right, boys and girls, there's still a lot of space on this side and the front. Don't be shy. Come out in front. We will not eat you. Don't worry. Just come out in front and we will continue our sharing. Jangan malu-malu. Sila ke depan.
Okay, we still have space at the front here, on my right side. Okay, for the time being, you can Google Malaysia dijangka membina pesawat tempur sendiri 2030. Can you Google? Okay, you Google, Malaysia dijangka mempunyai pesawat tempur sendiri 2030. That is my statement. Okay, I continue. So when we learn TRIZ, basically what we want is we want people to change their mind from become user into become inventor. So this is the most important. Why we need people learn TRIZ. Even in Korea, when they teach TRIZ at school, so they become very innovative. And they have courage to start a new project. So that's why I asked you to search for that article. It's appear in the Bernama and Esro Awani. And somebody asked me, do you have the courage to say that? I say yes. Because you need to change. We have to change our country. Now people already changed the government. So the next step is we need to change our mind from become user into become inventor. In the past, we have Proton. Our Prime Minister asked our people to change their mind from just use a car from outside country. Now you use our own car, our local car. Even though we still have some weakness, but at least we already have our own car. But now, the next step is we should have our own aircraft. We already have our civil aircraft. In the past, we have CTRM. So they build Eagle aircraft. And also we have one aircraft, we call it MD-3-160. But the next, we are going to build pesawat tempur, fighter aircraft. And a lot of people laugh at me. I say, it's okay. But as long as somebody appreciate and put in the newspaper that we really want to go for that. So I made this statement 2 weeks ago, on the last day of National DSA, Defense Asia Services, the biggest exhibition on defense in Malaysia every 2 years. So I made this statement and it's appeared in the Esro Awani. Actually, I already have my team. We start with a secret group in the Facebook. We have more than 500 people. That people from Malaysia who have the intention to have our own aircraft in the future. Actually, I involve a lot of defense technology. In the past, I joined a team to Australia. So we do the evaluation on the UAV. We call it Scanical. That UAV is the most successful UAV in the world at that time. It's come from Boeing. So when we receive this aircraft, we buy four, we pay 10 million UAV. And then when it's arrived in Malaysia, after 1 month, so we have Lahad Datu, Ops Daulat in Sabah. And at that time, we keep quiet. We don't want people to know that we have this asset. And because of that, it's helped us a lot. Because the government, the military, the police, the army at that time can monitor very detailed how many people over there, how many people over there. The issue is, after 3 years of Daulat 2014, after 3 years, we haven't serviced the aircraft using Boeing. Suddenly, they crashed the aircraft 3 within one month. They crash. Not is crash. Somebody from outside control our aircraft and crash inside the sea. And then the guy who became the pilot for the aircraft come to me, Doctor, we need to do something now. We cannot rely on others' technology. We have to develop our own technology. And from that on, I say, okay, we launch the future Malaysia pesawat tempur. We call it pesawat tempur Malaysia. So our target by 2030, we are going to build our own aircraft. But I told my team, but everybody or the engineer must join TRIZ first. That is my rule. I say because we need to define the function. Because under TRIZ, when we learn, because we are going to use TRIZ language. For example, actually, if you read the article, I mentioned 5th generation aircraft. You know 5th generation aircraft? What is the 5th generation aircraft right now that we have in the world? Is F-35. F-35. From Russia, we have FA-54, which is the latest aircraft. And even in Europe, they don't have this type of aircraft. But I say we can go 6th generation aircraft if you have TRIZ. And everybody, and when I mentioned, when the first time they come to me in UPM, okay, I mentioned why I said 6th generation aircraft, because we are going to develop technology like this, like this, like this, like this. And after 1 month, I mentioned this to my team. Suddenly, America, they release what is the future 6th generation aircraft. And it is exactly what I mentioned to them. And then I told them, within the WhatsApp group, who released this information to US? I said that. So everybody trusts me. Okay, who released this information? Who are the spies in this group? Because we can predict the future. I told them, and after 1 month, America released, this is the future aircraft. But somebody complained to me. So if you say this is 6th generation aircraft, why you use 5th generation aircraft? The shape. And I told them, people buy function, not product. The shape is just a product. The function is we want to kill the enemy. So if you can develop something better than what we have right now, so you can name it 5th generation, 6th generation, or whatever. But as long as you can deliver better than whatever they have right now. So this is, you only can achieve this one if you have TRIZ. Without this knowledge, I don't think you can think you are better than the current technology. Because when we learn TRIZ, for example, we learn pattern circumferences, pattern deconstruction, how to improve the product, how to improve the function, and so on. So that's why I have that confidence, because I learned TRIZ. If you don't have TRIZ, maybe you don't have the courage to say that statement. Because even though we don't have that technology right now, but we know how to get that technology, how to achieve that technology. Actually, I just like this, I'm not professor. So even though I don't have the full knowledge, but I know how to get the knowledge. Even before the election, 2 weeks before the election, I have like tea with the Minister of Mosti, Dato' Madias Tangau, and he asked, he gave us a challenge. I need a technology that we can harvest the palm oil using robot, not using people. Because now we use Bangla, Indonesia, and we have to bring them to our industry. Maybe it requires a few million. So now we try to eliminate all this. So we want to use robot. I said to the minister, I have the technology, but it's not with me now. If you agree to give me the money, then I can deliver the product to you. And then minister said, okay, submit the proposal. Then I asked him, sempat lagi ke Dato'? I asked him like that, with laugh. Oh, we still have 2 cabinet meeting more. He said like that to me. And I know after 29, it will be the parliament will be dissolved. And exactly it's happened on that day. But the issue is, we have the confidence because we know how to scout the technology and how the technology evolve, because we have the knowledge of TRIZ. Even though we don't have the technology, but you know how to get the technology. So that's why if you, after you complete your course in UMP, so make sure you continue your knowledge on TRIZ. So don't stop here, because it will be very interesting. It's not just for your career, but also for your daily life and so on. So you know how to control yourself when you have TRIZ, and when you can predict anything and so on. Even for the TM50, so our TRIZ master from Holland, Valerie, his name is Valerie. So he's quite aggressive now, give a talk to company about the future technology. And I try to follow his speech on the internet and try to understand the tool that he used. Because when we are TRIZ practitioners, we are a big family. And we are willing to share each other. Even under TRIZ Malaysia, we have a lot of members from Russia, from Europe. They are willing to share their technology. So that's why I said, I have the technology, but not with me, because I know I have friends in UK, they are Russian, study on bio-TRIZ. So if I ask them to be my partner for that project, I'm sure they are willing to share the technology. So that's why when you are TRIZ practitioner, you are considered a big family of the future of this world. So you are going to shape the future. If you look at the China now, we have Huawei, a giant company. They are aggressively using TRIZ. And in 2016 or 15, so they produced 3,500 patents in 1 year, aggressively. Before this, China is considered just copy, without have their own technology. But now when we discuss about patent, intellectual property, so now they have that technology. Okay, that's all of us. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Dr. Rushdie. I just like to keep it simple. When I was in Intel, one of the things that we try to do is continue to contribute more to the investors so that we can create more jobs for all of you. So one of the things that we try to create more jobs, not manufacturing jobs, but also jobs that is related to product development and technology development. So these are the areas that we as a country must focus on, and you guys fortunately are the future. So one of the dream of the TRIZ people here is to try to put TRIZ in university and in school with only one aspiration. This aspiration is to help let you practice product development earlier before you hit the industry. One of the challenge is to allow primary school students, secondary school students, as well as tertiary university students like you to attempt to create something simple. And by experiencing the process, we hope by the time you reach your final year project, your maturity will reach a different level. And after, I strongly encourage you to go beyond an undergrad and pursue careers like these two gentlemen here into postgrads. And we hope that you can create product and technology that will be useful for mankind, not just in Malaysia, but the world. Remember this, knowledge sharing will become powerful. In the old days, having knowledge is powerful, but in the future, with social media, the belief is you must share your knowledge. So today, after having experience working in a multinational, we have put a lot of these examples that we have learned while we were in semiconductor. And if you take TRIZ class, a lot of the material were contributed from that company. So a lot of the case studies that is inside the syllabus were derived from successes of results of projects that were achieved when that company adopted TRIZ. Today, in my area of work as a consultant, we see thousands and one problems every day. And each problem will always have to be solved. The main reason when you go to work and when company hire you, more so as an engineer, is to solve problems. And this scenario, what these people here are doing is we are proliferating TRIZ, not just to university or school student. We have successfully taken TRIZ to now more than 250 companies in Malaysia. Dulu, about 8 years ago, there was a handful. Today, if you have TRIZ in your resume, I believe your chance of being hired will be even much higher. And Madam Haslinda was saying that look at the numbers of engineers and graduates from this room today. She was concerned that maybe some of you will not get an opportunity to find jobs. Not to worry. Let me tell you a story about Taiwan. Taiwan, about 30 years ago, was just a manufacturing location, and they did not have a lot of company that created product and technology. There was an era in their system where they overproduced graduates. When they had more supply than demand, what happened is that there was a lot of concern that there was unemployed graduates. Let me tell you directly what you should do if you do not have a job opportunity. Because God wants you to create your own company. Okay, when you are in that situation, I want you to be like us. Today we own company, and we want you to own company at a much younger age. Don't be afraid to become an entrepreneur when you cannot find jobs. But the most important thing is to find the right product, the right service, or the right technology that you want to bring to the people that will pay you money for. All right? So, another example, if you want to study TRIZ and become good at it, we like to hire you as a consultant of TRIZ. As a consultant of TRIZ, you get to solve problems like this. Let me share with you some of the problems that you will see. One, for example, a herbal drink company. He processes herbal drink, buah noni. If you understand, there is a herbal fruit. It's called noni. And in the good days, he have 100 orders from a particular customers. Suddenly, a customers from China increased the numbers of demand from 100 bottles to 10,000 bottles. So he has to find ways to increase his production. So along that process, he encountered a lot of challenges, and he uses TRIZ to solve them. Another problem that we've encountered with small companies is interestingly, a Songkok provider. Recently, you will see a lot of fashion there where men start to use Songkok. And one of the challenges of that producer is wrong labeling. They label the wrong size. They also have like our t-shirt, S, M, XL, and so forth, but they have wrong labeling. You will see problems like a toy company. They produce thousands of this Hot Wheels car. After 30 years, they still have challenges in production of this Hot Wheels car. And TRIZ were used to solve them. So this kind of problem come across every day. And if you're a consultant, we will send you to solve problem with company that have drill beads, Gigi Garudi. When you have drill beads, you will also have challenges when you produce these drill beads. Whether you know it or not, one Malaysian company in Shah Alam is one of the biggest producer of these drill beads for the world. And they are very, very good. So a lot of this interesting problem, and we need you to be good at problem solving and help them. And the latest had been problem of slaughtering chicken. A lot of you may not be familiar with. The process of slaughtering chicken also have problems. So TRIZ guys goes in and only have one goal. The goal is to make sure during the process of slaughtering chicken, the chicken is put to sleep using electricity, but it's not killed. And the main outcome of it is that the wing of the chicken, the sayap, the wing, must not be broken. So that kind of a scenario, you will have to solve them. I mean, we signed a lot of non-disclosure. We cannot share more with you, but I'm just giving you flavors of problem that can range from toy to herbal fruit to even processing of chicken to maybe electronics to what has been done in the aeronautical as well as automotive industries. All right, so there is a lot of opportunity. 200 plus companies in Malaysia has already learned TRIZ. It's your jam out there to master this technique. You cannot go wrong. This is what I'm telling you today. And I'll pass this microphone back.
Kalau kita dengar apa yang Dr. Rushdie cakap tadi, pesawat tempur kita ni 20-30. Dan Dr. Rushdie cakap antara kriteria engineer yang berminat untuk bekerja bersama beliau adalah expert dalam TRIZ. Di mana-mana universiti yang belum ada TRIZ, they have to start all over from zero. All of you sudah ada asas TRIZ. Kalau saya tanya, ada sesiapa di sini berminat untuk buat kapal terbang tempur atau tidak? Jadi awak ini, bagi saya, mana yang dah ada asas TRIZ, mestilah continue with TRIZ. Sebab ini antara problem solving yang boleh bantu awak, bukan saja bekerja di kilang, tetapi sekarang nak buat kita punya kita nak buat pejuang tempur dah ni. Yeah. We're not talking about kereta on the road anymore. Yeah? It's to be together on air. Ni jauh dah perjalanan kita. Alright, saya nak ingatkan untuk reflection, you have to write your own understanding. Bukan copy paste apa yang pakar kita cakap. Your own understanding. So far, how do you feel about TRIZ? How can TRIZ help me to improve myself in the future? I would like to join the team in order untuk membina pesawat tempur. Atau nak pergi China dengan Dr. Zul, atau masuk ke company-company yang besar. You see, this is an added value for you. Atau macam Mr. Tan cakap, they need consultant who can work together with them under TRIZ. Kalau you berminat, you faham 39 SP, 40 IP, why not? Alright? We will stop at 4 because kita pun dah tak sabar-sabar nak bagi tahu the top 15. So kita akan sum up for the last question. Bagaimana TRIZ dan IR 4.0 together with the potential and opportunities of TRIZ untuk all of you in the future. Right? Let's hear from the expert. This will be the last point for your reflection. Listen carefully, understand, and rewrite according to your own understanding.
Okay, I think starting last year, okay, we have been given this new word called Industry 4.0. Okay, so there's a lot of definition, there's a lot of communication, not just at the organization level, but also in the national level. Not just in industry, but also in university. Okay, so the point is that TRIZ, Industry 4.0 is talking about a digital element in manufacturing. Okay, how does this digital element improve industry performance? How to reduce costs? How to make the performance better, and how to make productivity faster and cheaper. Okay, so if you see example, if you Google YouTube and you try to look into, I think Industry 4.0 is coming from German, and the specific industry is automotive, like Volkswagen and Audi. Okay. If you type Volkswagen, Audi, Industry 4.0 in YouTube, they can show you how does the automotive line, how does the process in creating a car using all these robots. Okay, you can see it in your own eyes and understanding. The issue is, what is it for you? What is it for you as an engineer, or for you as what you call electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, whatever? Because if you see in that video, there is no human. Okay? There is no people. If you have the opportunity to visit Tanjung Malim plant in Tanjung Malim, in Perak, okay? You can visit like body assembly shop. And you can see all the cars made by robot. There only, I think, a handful of people. One people, they call it robot man. handling 10 robots. Okay, they have like 30 to 50 robot, and how many people they need? Maybe 5, 8. And those people is not degree qualification. They don't have degree, they don't have master or PhD. I think minimum they have diploma or maybe CJL. But they handle robots. Meaning that in future, Industry 4.0, your future will be more challenging. Because we don't need people to handle this kind of industry, to help this industry, okay? Most of the people, most of the talent needed is working at the back end, okay? Software developer, robot designer and everything, okay? Like they have IoT system. They put it in one place and that's it. They can run it themselves, autonomous and what's not, okay? So, it is very challenging for your future. Because all the routine process in the manufacturing is done by robots. So the question is for you, where will be your place in Industry 4.0? Okay? I think this is the first part regarding Industry 4.0. Another example that I would like to share is related to Industry 4.0 in financial industry. We called it FinTech, financial technology. There is a discussion which is very serious right now. They are mentioning that FinTech will kill all the bank. Okay? All the big banks, CIMB, Maybank, you mentioned it, will be killed by FinTech, this small startup company, which have the same function like the bank. But they work in very small and cyber-physical system, which is less overhead. In future, they predict that all branches in Malaysia will be closed down. All the ATM machine will become a public phone booth. The question is, when the last time you used public phone booth? The answer is 10 years ago could be. So this could be the future of financial industry 4.0 for financial industry. People right now is just using smartphone. In China, they don't do business using cash anymore. Even the people beggar in the roadside, they just put QR code. Okay? They don't need your cash. They don't need your physical cash or physical money. No. They put QR code, you scan and donate. This Industry 4 element is destructive. And it could affect you. Okay? So this thing is very, very important. If you learn TRIZ, like Dr. Roshdi and Mr. Ng Ho mentioned, the tools that we can predict future technology is S-curve. We can also use S-curve to predict your future behavior or your future trend of human evolution in technology. Okay? The last part, I think the last element that mentioned about, is TRIZ a solution for you in facing the real job environment? Okay? I think we start to not just teach TRIZ in university, but we are starting to teach TRIZ in secondary school. Today, 2018, we are teaching TRIZ Form 4 in Reka Bentuk and Technology. Form 2, sorry. And it will be happen next year for Form 3, a new syllabus. So if you think that TRIZ is not important, and you want to forget about TRIZ, you will be loser. Because your brother, your little brother, and also maybe your future, you have son, maybe kids, they will learn TRIZ eventually. Okay? And then, for you to learn TRIZ have a lot of advantages. There could be like 2 candidates that will go for an interview. Both are success, but one will be the higher pointer and one will be the average pointer. But for average pointer coming from UMP, learn TRIZ, you have the confidence and the capability to solve real problem. For other people who not take the opportunity to learn TRIZ with 4 flat, when you just step in the industry environment, everything is about problem. They are not asking you about mechanical fluid, engineering analysis, static dynamic. No. They will ask you, can you solve this problem? I want this problem solved yesterday. So please take the opportunity to learn TRIZ as much as possible, and maybe in future you will enter industry. You need help, please contact us. We can come to your industry, we can give you support. This is the TRIZ community mentioned by Dr. Rosdi. We are ready to help you, not just in university, but later in industry. Thank you.
Okay, right now people talking about Industry 4.0. Everybody talking about Industry 4.0. But before we come across Industry 4.0, which is happened to be appear from 2015. So in Malaysia, we discussed about Industry 4.0 after 2015. Before that, we learned about trend. So under TRIZ, we learn trend of increased dynamicity, trend of decreased human involvement. So all these trends, basically we already learned that in the future it will be no more people inside the factory. Everything will be handled by robot and so on. That's why when suddenly the government mentioned about Industry 4.0, so we already planned for that. And even when we create or when we develop a new technology for the future, definitely the technology that are going to reduce the human involvement. The issue is when we discuss about Industry 4.0, and some people said badly, or no need to go for Industry 4.0 because it's end up we cannot provide job to our students. Actually, Industry 4.0 is a trend. It's not us want Industry 4.0, but people. People want this Industry 4.0. For example, right now, we have Grab. So in KL, if you at the roadside and you stop the car, the taxi won't stop. Because all the taxi in KL has been booked online. So that's why you want to follow or not. If you do not follow the Industry 4.0, you will be left behind. Nobody will stop and pick up you. Because everything they order using in the phone. So this is the trend. So we have no choice. And what we want now, we want you to prepare to face this situation. So that's why I told you from the beginning just now, when we teach students TRIZ, basically we want to train them as an inventor. It's not as user. In terms of business, we want to train them as entrepreneur, no more as a job seeker. So instead of you look for the job or you grab opportunity, you create opportunity. So this is what we want. When people who learn TRIZ, so when they think, oh, it's not easy to get a job, then he do whatever, creativity, and do start business and so on. And the most common one, you become a Grab driver. When you cannot get any job, so just become a Grab driver in KL. And right now, people not feel that when they become a Grab driver like a private sapu in the past, because sometimes they feel proud. Or now I become Grab driver at night. Because sometimes they can generate more than what their friend work in the factory or work in the office. And they are free to work when they want. But the most important is you need to think how to create the opportunity rather than you grab opportunity. And for the government, now government give a lot of incentive for the young entrepreneur. Even we have a lot of from Teraju, MTDC, and even they offer 500,000 funding. If you can come out with a good business model, so the government will fund. So there's a lot of opportunity as long as you have to think as a creator rather than user. You have to think as an entrepreneur rather than just to buy product and so on. So this is very important, and we expect all the students who come, who already been through TRIZ, so their thinking is more creative compared to the student who don't have the TRIZ knowledge. So this is our hope. So forget about unemployment and so on. Even though we have Industry 4.0, but you have no choice. You have to face. So don't blame the government. Cannot provide the job, because you are the one who really passive, not creative enough to get the job. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Rushdie and Dr. Zul. Just some short sharing. One, what human is trying to do is to make more machine so that we have more time with nature. So this is what mankind is doing. Two, I like you to think beyond IR 4.0. What if there is IR 5.0 and IR 6.0? All right, for you, I think you will be in that space. So in the future, if you think about people or human continue to make machine to replace our job so that we have more time with nature. That's in a nutshell of where we want to go. But what you are seeing right now is a trend of reducing human involvement. When you see that trend, there is something happening called a merging of a physical world with the digital world. This is a stage of IR 4.0. I'm talking in language that you're not very familiar with intentionally. Because after the merge of physical and digital world forming IR 4.0, in IR 5.0 and 6.0 or 7.0, there will come a biological block. All right, so this is much more down into the future. So you will see a combination of physical, digital, and biological segment. But not to worry about all this thing, right? In what my colleagues say here, Dr. Zol, Dr. Rushdie, there are only three things that you must have. Create function, create value, create knowledge. Huh? These are the three things that whatever it is, come time and going forward, your value will be most important when you can create function. And from that function, you create value, because value is derived from a formula called V equals to function over cost. And when you get to create function and create value, knowledge will be created. And when knowledge is created, when this three happen, you are on the right track. All right, just remember this. We will not say much more. But as you write about your understanding of TRIZ, you can Google. But I also like to challenge you to look forward beyond today and think 20, 30, and 50 years out. What will happen to you into the future? All right, with that, I'd like to pass this microphone back to Madam Haslinda.
Okey, terima kasih. Kita sangat bertuah kerana telah mendengar pandangan. Saya rasa bagi yang sangat berminat untuk mengenali speakers kita dengan lebih rapat, saya ingat lagi semester lepas, Dr. Rushdie, Mr. Tani stay back sampai dekat pukul 7 malam. Student datang, berjumpa, ambil gambar, tanya tentang future. Because you know why? These are the connection, the cables that you need. After later on, because you never know your luck after this. Ya, kita tak tahu. Kalau kita boleh ada politician berumur 22 tahun, kita boleh ada engineer yang bekerja buat kapal terbang berusia semuda awak sebenarnya. Alright. So please grab this opportunity. Jangan balik lagi, jangan risau. UMP tak ke mana, tempat tidur awak pun tak ke mana. Malam ni awak boleh rest, ramai ada PSM saya tahu. Tapi TRIZ ini akan bantu PSM awak. Don't worry. Dia akan bantu bagi awak nampak clear what are you doing, problem statement, research method, apa yang kita dah bincang. Okey, kita dah selesai untuk bahagian forum. Ya, saya nak ingatkan, sila jangan lupa tulis nama, metric number. Please write down your name, metric number, section and lecturer's name. Okay. We will not take a break. We will continue. Alright. I will ask the judges to go down, take 5. Actually, urus setia, get ready dengan borang pemarkahan. Ada 7 kumpulan akan pergi ke belah kiri saya, 8 kumpulan bersedia di belah kanan saya. Bring your prototype, bergerak ke dewan sekarang. Okey, top 15 kita. Boleh, sila. Thank you. Yang pertama, A21LD Pool Pad Grip. Cepat, bergerak. Urus setia semua dah bersedia dah ni. 09G Config Pouch Bag. Kumpulan ketiga, 8P Safety Sleeve. Kumpulan keempat, F01LB Rockabye Baby. Kumpulan kelima, 8P Automatic Side Stand. Kumpulan keenam, C2122LD The Magneto Stick. A24LD Magic Shawl. A23LD S Noodles. Okey, nombor 1 sehinggalah Magic Shawl tadi. Pool Pad Grip and Magic Shawl ke belah kiri saya. Belakang stage, bergerak sekarang. Bring your prototype, bring your friends, bring your group members. One presentation at a time. Come on, we cannot waste time. Okay, S Noodles, A23LD, 10G, PO1LB, multifunctional box. F02122 Coconut Gripper. F01LB, M01LB, You Shall Not Fall. 01G Ahga Shield. 06P Fluorescent Bulb Changing Device. 06P Multi-Purpose Waterproof Luminous Jacket. 06P Magnetic Wristband. Move, now, cepat. A21LD Pool Pad Grip, 09G Comfy Pouch Bag, 8P Safety Sleeve, F01LB Rockabye Baby, 8P Automatic Side Stand, C2122LD The Magneto Stick, A24LD Magic Shawl. On my left. Betulkan appearance awak, attire awak semua. Yang lain remain seated, relax. Jangan hantar borang lagi nanti. Selesaikan awak punya report. Okey, belah kanan saya A23LD S Noodles 10G PO1LB multifunctional box. F02122 Coconut Gripper. F01LB M01LB You Shall Not Fall. 01G Ahga Shield. 06P Fluorescent Bulb Changing Device. 06P Multi-Purpose Waterproof Luminous Jacket. 06P Magnetic Wristband. Very fast. Belakang. I mean belakang stage. Move. On my left, on my right. Okay, get ready with your prototype. Every group will be given 5 minutes only.
3 minutes. Tak perlu dia belum cakap pasal yang pertama produk dia. Yang kedua berkenaan dengan dia punya parameter dia.
Alright, bagi yang duduk, selesaikan report. Pintu astaka telah dikunci, anda tak boleh balik lagi. Janganlah macam tu. Kita bagilah support pada kawan-kawan, ya. Okay, double check for me. Tanya. 1 sampai 8 sampai 5 kiri. Check, double check. QR code bila? QR code bila? Oh, okay. Remember, all lecturers have told you to actually install QR code. You will only be using that after the final presentation. And that is to ensure your attendance. That is why please do not leave Astaka yet. Right? Okay, can you call all the leaders? Leaders. I need 15 leaders. Leaders. Can I have the leaders with me, please? Leaders. I need only the leaders, 15 of you. Tak payah, barang tak payah lagi, barang tak payah. Leaders, come. Come, send a briefing. Leaders, 15 of you, come. Lagi. Okay, come. Okay. Kalau ikut nombor tadi 1, 2 sampai 7, susun ikut tadi. You jom sekali. Ikut nombor yang saya bagi tadi. List. Okay, baca. Baca produk. Okay, pull pad grip, comfy pouch bag. Where you? Comfy pouch bag. Cari. Safety sleeve. Sana. Rockabye baby. Next. Automatic side stand. Here. Alright. Magneto stick. Here. Okay, magic shawl. Here. S noodle here. Okay, multifunctional box. Coconut gripper. Okay. You shall not fall. Sini. Baris. Okay. Agha shield. Leader. Agha shield. Where are you? Fluorescent bulb changing device. Multi-purpose waterproof luminous jacket. Magnetic wristband. Okay, what are you? Third. 3 yang terakhir. Ikut susunan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 missing. Mana? Cepat. Agashi. What you? Ni apa ni? Multifunctional box. Number 9. Agashi, where are you? 9. 9. Okey, 9. You apa? Ha? Apa dia? 11. 9, 10. Coconut gripper. Ha, sini. Argashil mana? Argashil. Argashil 01G. Tak mau ke? Lelong.